Sir, you are from Chandigarh, yeah. I have sent.
We are offering our Shraddhanjali to our principal, Mr. Bhugeswar Borah, who left his permanent job to establish this college. At that time, his wife used her earnings from her teaching job to support the faculty of the college. It is a great loss for the entire college fraternity. At this solemn moment, we pay our heartfelt Shraddhanjali to the late founder principal, Bhugeswar Borah sir, whose vision and dedication laid the foundation of this institution, and to the late Zubeen Garg, whose contributions and legacy will forever remain in our hearts. May their souls rest in eternal peace. মই বাইদেউ পুনৰুজ্জীৱন জনাইছো বাইদেউ এতিয়া বন্ধু প্ৰদান কৰি আমাৰ প্ৰতিষ্ঠাপক অধ্যক্ষ ছাৰক শ্ৰদ্ধাঞ্জলি জ্ঞাপন কৰিব আৰু লগত আমার অন্যান্য যিসকল আদার ডিগ্রি পার্সন they will also accompany our বাইদেউ our keynote speaker respected Dr. K.K. Gitakumari ma'am, she is also requested to offer Shraddhanjali to these two personalities. Our Principal of Dhing College, Biman Hazarika sir, সারাও শ্রদ্ধাঞ্জলি জ্ঞাপন করেছে গীতাকর্মী সহযোগিতা আগবঢ়াইছে our Assam's heartthrob Zubeen Garg, who left 3 months ago from us. Also our dignitary persons, they are offering their tribute to this heartthrob of Assam, whose demise has given us a great loss to the entire Assamese family.
Oh, not just Assam, Indian.
Yeah. But he is
Very popular. Yes.
started from here. Yes, sir.
All over India.
So now our students and officers will sing a song by Zubeen Garg to offer tribute.
Sandal Guest
হাতজন প্রমাণ করি এই দুইগৰাকী মহান ব্যক্তিৰ একেলগে শ্ৰদ্ধা নিবেদন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে অনুৰোধ জনাইছো। Now I request all present here to offer this Shraddhanjali to these great two personalities together without joining two hands. Seminar hall for other programs. So I welcome all of you to take your respective seats in the seminar hall. Assam, composed mainly by Srimanta Shankardev and Madhavdev, and are sung in praise of Lord Krishna. Now, this complete guidance of this Borgit Puriveshwar is by Sri Biman Borah. Sir Biman Borah sir. Now Biman Borah sir, we will be felicitated by our principal ma'am with the Assamese Sulam Gamusa. মই বাইদেউ আমার এই বর্গিত পরিবেশনার মুখ্য পরিচালক শ্রী বিশ্বনাথ বরা স্যার এই গুলাম গামোসারে আদর করবার অনুরোধ জানাইছো। ইয়া বিশ্বনাথ বরা স্যার ইগুরাম বরা লগত আমাৰ বৰ্গিত পৰিবহন কৰিব ৰশ্মি পাতক, তালত আছে খগেন পাতক আৰু বাগিত আছে বাগজ্যোতি শইকীয়া। এই তিনিগৰাকী একো গুলাম গামোচাৰে আদৰিব আমাৰ ডক্টৰ প্ৰাঞ্জলি মহন্ত। ডক্টৰ প্ৰাঞ্জলি মহন্ত বাইদেউ আমাৰ এই বাঁহী বাদক বাগজ্যোতি শইকীয়া, বাঁহী তালত খগেন পাতক আৰু বৰ্গিত পৰিবহন কৰিব ৰশ্মি পাতক। এই তিনিগৰাকী শিক্ষক গুলাম গামোচাৰে আদৰিবৰ কাৰণে আহ্বান জনাইছে। ইয়া ৰশ্মি পাঠক, তালত খগেন পাঠক, আৰু বাহিৰ সহযোগী আছে ভাগৱতী শইকীয়া। ভাগৱতী শইকীয়াক আমাৰ স্বামীমা সুতাৰা বাইদেউ গুলাম গামোচাৰে আদৰিব। মই শ্ৰদ্ধা আমাৰ এই বৰগীত পৰিবহণকাৰীসকলক বৰগীত পৰিবহণ কৰিবৰ কাৰণে অনুৰোধ জনাইছো। May I request our Honorable Dr. K.K. Gita Kumari Ma'am, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Sri Shankaracharya University. She is the keynote speaker. Now may I request her to come on the dais and she will be escorted by our respected HOD, our English department. Sir is not here from ma'am, as they can see. Gita Kumari ma'am. Now may I request Sri Jugendra Devasar Mahanto, Sattriya, and he is the chief head of the Sattriya Vaishnavi Monastery, Sologuri Sattriya Vadodrova. He is the guest of honor. Moi amar Sattriya Nagoriak, amar Monchot Ahan Bhav Kurva Karne, Undur Jonaisu, Aro amar Rajniti Kendriya Guru Vidyabhog, Rupakuma Bhugeswar Borah Sarok, Undur Jonaisu, amar Sattriya Nagoriak Ague Monchot Kurva Karne. আমার মাঝে আরো এগৰাকী ছাত্ৰাধিকাৰ আছে শ্ৰীযুত অমৰাজিত দাস গোস্বামী তেখেতেও আমাৰ ছাত্ৰাধিকাৰ কিছু নুৰুৱাহৰ তেখেতক গেষ্ট অফ অনাৰ হিচাপে আমাৰ মঞ্চত আহ্বান গ্ৰহণ কৰিবৰ কাৰণে অনুৰোধ জনাইছো আৰু আমাৰ মন্টু বৰা ছাৰক তেখেতক আহ্বান কৰিবৰ কাৰণে অনুৰোধ জনাইছো।
Bantu.
One of the guests of honor, Nupamuda Chaudhary Ma'am, Department of Philosophy and Cognitive Science, Jadavpur University, Kolkata. She is guest of honor. Now she will be escorted by our English faculty, Asma Sundara Kundara Baito. By now may I request you to escort our Rupamuda Sodri ma'am to our tracks. Dr. Mojdi Sharma, Associate Professor, Pandu College, Guest of Honor. May I request ma'am to come on the dais and we will be escorted by our Bhugeswar Borah sir. Please. Of the lab. Now this is the time to felicitate our eminent guest. I would like to request Bhugeswar Borah sir and our respected Ashik Ilai sir, please come here and we have to felicitate our eminent guest. Sankara University, our research team with the full of Assamese Gamusa, so, and tea, Assam's famous tea. Teacher, Dr. Pranjali Mahanto and Hemanti Lekha. Pranjali Mahanto, who is carrying the packet, she is the daughter of this great person. She is the daughter and she is the alumni of this college also. Now she is the lecturer of Assamese department. Yeah, in the same college. Alumni and she is the daughter of this Sattriya. আমার মাজত আজি নিমন্ত্রণ রক্ষা করে এসে আর একজন সত্রাধিকার শ্রী নুরুল শ্রীযুত অমরাজি দেব গোস্বামী তেখেতকে আমার টিমৰ জৰিয়তে সম্বৰ্ধনা জ্ঞাপন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে মই অনুৰোধ জনাইছো। Now I request our research team to felicitate our সত্ৰাধিকাৰ শ্ৰীযুত অমৰাজি দেব গোস্বামী with ফুলাম গামোচা। Now may I request our felicitation team to felicitate our Bhugeswar Borah ma'am, Department of Philosophy and Cognitive Science. Now, the person who is feliciting Muhammad Shahjahan is the alumni of this college and now senior assistant. He is also done his MS in history. Now he is working as office assistant. With the Assamese soul and memento. Now may I request our fellow team, Dr. Ashik Ilahi, IPC coordinator, and Bhugeswar Borah to felicitate our Dr. Matri Sharma ma'am, Associate Professor, Pandu College, guest of honor. IPC coordinator, Dr. Ashik Ilahi, and Bhugeswar Borah, HOD, Political Science, to felicitate our Dr. Matri Sharma ma'am, is guest of honor, Assistant Professor, Pandu College. Yeah, আমার মাজত আজি বিশেষ অতিথি উপস্থিত আছে শ্রী নাসির বর্ধন ডাইবরিয়া সাধারণ সম্পাদক বটদ্রব শ্রী শ্রী খান পরিচালনা সমিতি তেখেতক আমার এই সম্বর্ধনার সামগ্রী সম্বর্ধনা জ্ঞাপন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে মই শ্ৰী দেৱজিৎ মহন্ত ছাৰ আমাৰ এই মহান উপস্থিত তেখেতক অনুৰোধ কৰিছো আমাৰ নাসিৰ বৰ্ধন ডাইবরিয়া অসমীয়া ফুলাম গামোচা হল মেমেন্টো ইতিৰে সম্বৰ্ধনা জ্ঞাপন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে শ্ৰী দেৱজিৎ মহন্ত ছাৰ নাসিৰ বৰ্ধন কৰিছে। Resource persons, Indian guests, participants, those who have attended here for far long. Now may I request our felicitation team, Mr. Rajendra Shaikia, the founder student of this college and head assistant of this college, Rajendra Shaikia, to felicitate our Lakshmikanta Padi, Professor of Philosophy, University of North Bengal, Siliguri. He is a resource person. Lakshmikanta Padi sir, Rajendra Shakya অনুরোধ জনাইছো তেখেতক সম্পূৰ্ণ জ্ঞাপন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে Now, may I request our felicitation team thank you, our Rajendra Shakya and Rashidul for felicitation to our respected resource person. Now, may I request our felicitation team to felicitate Dr. Akwijam Pebisana at Department of Philosophy, Gowhati University. She is the resource person. May I request our honorable ma'am to come in front and to have her felicitation. With our Pranjali ma'am, আপনাকে অনুরোধ জানাইছো আমার গুয়াহাটি ইউনিভার্সিটির হেড ডিপার্টমেন্ট অফ ফিলোসফি ডক্টর আকুইজাম প্রফেসর মেমক আদর জানাবার কারণে এটা আশা করছিলাম ব্যবস্থা আমি এতিয়া আমার আদরিত টিমর জরিয়তে ডক্টর বিমান হাজারিকা স্যার প্রিন্সিপাল ধিং কলেজ মই স্যারক অলপ আগুৱাই আহি পেলাই আদৰণি ল'বৰ কাৰণে অনুৰোধ জনাইছো আমাৰ ডক্টৰ প্ৰাঞ্জলি মহন্ত বাইদেউ আমাৰ বিমান হাজৰিকা প্ৰিন্সিপাল ধিং কলেজ which is 10 kilometers from our institution and he is also resident of this locality Greater Vadodara. Now may I request our felicitation team to felicitate Professor Xavier P. Mao, sir, Department of Philosophy, Nehu, Northeastern University, Shillong. He is the resource person. Anjali Mahanta ma'am, she is felicitating our this resource person, Xavier P. Mao, sir. মই এতিয়া আমাৰ সম্বৰ্ধনা টিমৰ জৰিয়তে শ্ৰী ইন্দ্ৰমোহন বৰুৱা প্ৰাক্তন সম্পাদক বৰদ্ৰবাসী স্থান পৰিচালনা সমিতি তেখেতক আমাৰ টিমক সম্বৰ্ধনা জ্ঞাপন কৰিবৰ কাৰণে অনুৰোধ জনাইছো আৰু তেখেতক আগুৱাই আহিবৰ কাৰণে মই অনুৰোধ জনাইছো এয়া এক্স সেক্ৰেটাৰী অফ বৰদ্ৰবাসী স্থান পৰিচালনা সমিতি দিস ইজ সোশ্যাল পারসন এক্টিভিষ্ট মই বাইদেউক নমস্কাৰ আদৰিবৰ কাৰণে আৰু সকলোকে আদৰিবৰ অনুৰোধ জনাইছো Now may I request Dr. N. Ramting sir, Assistant Professor in Philosophy, University of North Bengal, is a resource person, to felicitate by our felicitation team, Dr. N. Ramting sir. Dr. Ramting sir.
Now, may I request Professor Sebastian Bereseri sir, UGC Emeritus Professor, former Professor of Philosophy, Punjab University, Chandigarh, to felicitate by our felicitation team, by our Bhugeswar Borah. I think he received at the Guwahati airport yesterday. Again, Bhugeswar Borah sir, he is feliciting our resource person, Sebastian Bereseri sir. Thank you, sir. Now may I request Dr. Urjit Sharma sir, Assistant Professor, Department of Philosophy, Tripura University, Agartala. Untuk sir ka अनुरोध janaisu. Bhugeswar Borah sir, we will felicitate our Dr. Urjit Sharma sir, Assistant Professor, Tripura. Now may I request Dr. Oriva Uttam Sharma sir, Department of Philosophy, Nehu, Shillong. Nehu, Shillong. My Khairul sir, অনুরোধ জানাইছে Khairul sir আমার ইকোনমিক্স এর সহকারী অধ্যাপক। Tridip Kumar Goswami sir, Head of the Department English, মই অনুরোধ জানাইছো তার আগত আহক। May I request মেট্রোরে সম্পর্কে জ্ঞাপন করিব। President by Bhugeswar Borah, Assistant Professor, Political Science. Thank you, Nirbajit Purwade. A few guests yet to come. So, at this moment, I stop our discussion program, and whenever the other guests they arrive, we shall continue the same. This is the turn to formally start our this inaugural session with the welcome speech by our honorable principal and organizer of this series seminar. মই এতিয়া আমাৰ অধ্যক্ষ বাইদেউ এই সেমিনাৰৰ কনভেনর তথা সম্পাদিকা আমাৰ বাইদেউক আজি এই গেদাৰিংক ওয়েলকাম স্পিচ দিবৰ কাৰণে মই বাইদেউক অনুৰোধ জনাইছো।
Running short of time, so I will try to precise my welcome here. Respected honorable distinguished delegates, special invited guests and participants. Respected, only one principal is present here because in Guwahati there is a seminar from Higher Education Department. So invited guests and participants, member of local community and my dear students, friends. It is with great pleasure, deep humility and a sense of honor that I, on behalf of the organizing committee and as the convener, extend a very warm welcome to you all to this ICPR sponsored national seminar on theory of knowledge, Indian and Western philosophical perspectives. We are privileged to host this academic gathering on this sacred and historically significant land, the birthplace of Mahapurusha Srimanta Shankardev, whose life, philosophy, and humanistic vision continue to illuminate our understanding of knowledge, ethics, devotion, and unity. Holding a seminar on epistemology in such a place gives our deliberations a deeper cultural and philosophical resonance. At the very outset, I wish to express our heartfelt gratitude to the Indian Council of Philosophical Research for the generous sponsorship and constant academic support. ICPR's commitment to nurture philosophical inquiry across the country remains a guiding force for scholars and institutions alike. I express my sincere and respectful gratitude to the Honorable Vice Chancellor of Guwahati University for his continuous support of philosophical studies and academic excellence. My respectful thanks also go to the Honorable Deputy Commissioner Sir and Honorable MLA Sri Rupak Sharma for their encouragement, which greatly strengthen our academic and institutional endeavors. I extend a special word of appreciation to our esteemed research persons whose scholarly insights and intellectual contributions will undoubtedly enrich the discussions over the next 3 weeks. I also thank the respected principal of different colleges for your cooperation, encouragement, and support in promoting academic engagement among faculty and students. I warmly welcome all the participants, research scholars, students, and delegates from different parts of the country, as well as members of the local community. Your presence gives life and meaning to this seminar and transforms it into a truly collective pursuit of knowledge. Over the next 3 days, we hope to embark on a reflective epistemic journey, one that encourages questioning, dialogue, disagreement, and intellectual humility. May the seminar inspire critical thinking, deepen philosophical understanding, and foster a shared commitment to the pursuit of truth. Despite many challenges, administration, as well as academic responsibilities, examination works, limited manpower, and minimal resources will work with dedication and sincerity to make this event possible. I especially acknowledge the wide but determined efforts of our small support team, who dare to take on this responsibility with commitment and courage. While we have tried our best to ensure smooth arrangements, I humbly seek your kind understanding and apology for any inconvenience, logical or otherwise, that you may experience during the seminar. Your patience, cooperation, and generosity of spirit means a great deal to us. Once again, I extend my warmest welcome to all of you and wish this seminar every success academically, intellectually, and spiritually. True knowledge does not extend in answers. It begins with deeper questions. Thank you all for your presence, support, and encouragement. বৰগোৱালৈ আমাৰ বটদ্ৰৱা শ্ৰী শ্ৰী শংকৰদেৱ কলেজলৈ সকলোকে ওয়েলকাম জনালোঁ।
For your welcome address. Now comes the most awaited moment of the keynote address by Professor K.K. Gagamarimam, Vice Chancellor of Sri Shankaracharya University. I would like to invite Madam to deliver the keynote address of this 3 days program. Now, Madam, keynote address of this 3 days seminar.
Good morning to all. I want to start this program with a prayer of Goddess Mukambika, who is the protector of all the knowledge, and from her all the knowledge is generated. Balam Nityanidhanana Balam Nityanidhanana Trinayanam Baleduna Bhushida Nilakara Sukundalam Suyanidam Nityanadana Pradam Shangham Chakravarabhayam Dadhadim Saraswadanta Pradam Tambalam Tripura Siveda Sahidam Jayami 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 Mukambika Tambalam Tripura Siveda Sahidam Jayami Mukambika. Scholars and dear friends, today I am presenting a paper, the keynote address. I have a very big paper. Sometimes I will skip some portions because I know that all of you are philosophy people, and sometimes maybe that is repeating the knowledge. So sometimes I will skip some portions and I will take some ready. Indian and this paper is on Indian and Western epistemology and overview. That is I am doing. Indian philosophy treats knowledge not only as a means of understanding the world, but also as the very path of liberation. Epistemology in the Indian tradition is not merely an abstract or speculative study, but an essential part of the philosophical process for liberation, moksha. The pursuit of epistemology in India developed within the context of 6 classical systems of philosophy known as the Shad-darsanas, Nyaya Vaisheshika, Sankhya Yoga, Mimamsa and Vedanta. Each system proposes a distinctive understanding of what knowledge is and how it is obtained. For example, the Nyaya school provides a highly analytical and logical account of cognition, while the Mimamsa system focuses on the reliability of linguistics and scriptural testimony. Buddhism, though outside the orthodox darsana framework, makes a profound contribution by developing a critical theory of momentary cognition and by rejecting the notion of a permanent self as the knower. Jainism, with its theory of Anekatavada, non-absolutism, brings a pluralistic understanding of truth, while Samaga materialism limits valid knowledge to sense perception alone. Knowledge is considered the means to free oneself from ignorance, avidya. In our Indian Sanatana Dharma itself, that is believing. When we are praying about in Mukambika, then avidya, the eradication of avidya is our Ya Gundendu Tushara Haradhavara Ya Shubhra Vastra Vrida Ya Veena Varadanda Mandita Kara Ya Shveta Padmasana Ya Brahmachuda Shankara Prakriti Devai Sada Vandida Samam Paru Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesha Jadya Baha Samam Mamparu Saraswati Bhagavati Nishesha Jatyada, that is avidya. So, which is seen as a root cause of bondage and suffering. Thus, the investigation into the nature and means of valid knowledge is not only theoretical but deeply practical, forming the bridge between metaphysics and ethics. The Indian terms or epistemology, Pramana Shastra, literally means the science of valid cognition. The thinkers of India did not treat knowledge as a detached process of the intellect alone, but as a living experience and transforms human consciousness. Thus, knowledge in the Indian tradition is deeply practical and transformative. It is not an abstract intellectual pursuit, but a way to overcome ignorance, avidya, the root of human bondage. The Sanskrit word pramana means of valid knowledge, and the systematic inquiry into these means is known as Pramana Shastra or epistemology. Every school of Indian thought, whether realistic, idealistic, pluralistic, or skeptic, developed great attention to the problem of knowledge, its sources, limits, and validity. The general Indian view is that ignorance binds and knowledge liberates. When we fail to perceive the real nature of things, we live in delusion. When true knowledge arises, ignorance is destroyed and the path of freedom is opened. Thus, epistemology in India is never diverse from metaphysics or ethics. The knowing subject, pramada, and object, prameya, the means of knowledge, pramana, and the valid cognition, prama, are all seen as aspects of a unified experience of reality. This fourfold relationship forms the structural basis of every epistemological theory in Indian philosophy. The pramadra or knower is the conscious self, the witness of all experiences. The prameya or object of knowledge is whatever the subject seeks to know, whether an external entity, an internal state, or the metaphysical truth. The pramana is the instrument through which the knower comes to know the known, and prama is the resulting knowledge that corresponds to the real nature of the subject. The entire process of knowing thus involves interaction between consciousness and reality, mediated by the appropriate pramana. Indian philosophers define valid knowledge, prama, as yathartha anubhava, a cognition, and corresponds to the real. This means that the knowledge is valid when it reveals its object as it truly is. It must also be anadhikata, previously is invalid, as it was contradicted by later experience. The Nyaya school elaborates these criteria with a logical precision, while Advaita Vedanta emphasizes that all empirical knowledge, though valid within its sphere, is ultimately transcended by the intuitive realization of Brahman, the non-dual absolute. Unlike Western epistemology, which often begins with a doubt and seeks justification for belief, Indian epistemology begins with acceptance that knowledge is possible and trustworthy. The focus is not an skepticism but an discriminating between true and false cognition. This constructive attitude allowed Indian thinkers to develop sophisticated analysis of perception, inference, and other cognitive processes within being trapped by radical doubt. The means of valid knowledge, pramana, occupy the central position in this discourse. Different schools recognizes different numbers of pramanas, ranging from 1 Chavaga to 6 Mimamsa and Advaita Vedanta. The 6 generally acknowledged pramanas are perception, pratiksha, inference, anumana, comparison, anumana, alopamana, verbal testimony, chabda, and postulation, arthapati, and non-apprehension, anubhajapti. Then that is the description on the pratisha, anumana, upamana, and shabda. That is not needed because all we know what is mentioning about the pratisha, anumana. So that I am skipping all that. Among the various systems of Indian philosophy, the Nyaya school occupies a central position in the field of epistemology. It is often called the science of reasoning because of its detailed analysis of logic, argumentation, and cognition. Founded by Gautama, also known as Akshavada, the Nyaya system aims to establish right knowledge as the means of liberation. According to Nyaya thinkers, liberation, moksha can be achieved only by removing false knowledge, Mithya Jnana, and acquiring true knowledge, Tattva Vijnana. Nyaya epistemology is realistic, holding that object exists independently of perception and knowledge is a correspondence between cognition and reality. Nyaya classifies knowledge, Jnana is either valid prama or invalid aprama. Valid knowledge arises through the four pramanas: perception, inference, comparison, and verbal testimony. A perception is valid when it is produced by the proper functioning of the senses in direct contact with the object, free from defects, dosha. Nyaya also offers a complex analysis of error, yadi. By they propose the anyada kyadivada, means misapprehension of one thing or as another. For instance, when a person mistakes a rope for a snake, the erroneous perception arises because the thing, the image of the snake seen elsewhere is misattributed to the rope. Such errors are corrected by subsequent valid knowledge, restoring a correct relation between knower and known. In inference, Adimana, Nyaya introduces a five-membered syllogism similar to Aristotelian logic but more elaborate. Preposition, that is pratigna, reason, hedu, example, drishtanta, and application, upanaya, and conclusion, that is nigamana. The emphasis is on the yapti or universal relation between reason and predicate, which ensures that the inference leads to certain knowledge. By developing a systematic logic of reasoning, Nyaya laid the foundation for a rational epistemology in India and influenced almost all later traditions. Mimamsa school, founded by Jaimini, primarily deals with the interpretation of the Vedas, but also contributes profoundly to epistemology. While Nyaya stresses reasoning, Mimamsa emphasizes the authority of language and scriptures as a source of valid knowledge. Yes, I am skipping that portion. And the Vedanta system, particularly in its Advaita, that is not dual, form as developed by Shankara, integrates epistemology within a later metaphysical framework. Knowledge, Jnana, is not merely about external object, but ultimately about realizing the self. Atman as identical with Brahman. The absolute ignorance, avidya, causes the illusion of multiplicity, while right knowledge, Dharmajnana, resolves all distinctions and lead liberation. So I am skipping that portion. And the Jaina philosophy is present. Yet another unique, there is some the Buddhist epistemological tradition makes a significant turning point of Indian philosophy. Buddhist thinkers like Dignaga, 5th century CE, and Dharmakirti, 7th century CE, developed a righteous theory of knowledge, but that focused on direct experience and logic. They recognized only two pramanas: perception, pratyaksha, and inference, anumana. For Buddhist, perception is the immediate and non-conceptual awareness of particulars, sukalpa, lakshana, while inference deals with general characteristics, samanya lakshana. Okay. Then the Jaina philosophy is keeping some portions, discussions are there. The Jaina philosophy is present yet another unique approach. Their epistemology is grounded in the doctrine of non-dualism, Anekadavada and Asyadvada, or the theory of conditional predication. According to Jainism, reality is multifaceted and cannot be fully grasped from any single perspective. Each judgment is therefore only partially true and must be qualified by the word siyad, meaning from a certain standpoint. There is some classifies knowledge into direct pratiksha and indirect paroksha. Direct knowledge includes sensory and supersensory forms, while indirect knowledge arises from the inference and testimony. Finally, the Sarvaga or Lokayana school represents the materialistic tradition of Indian thought. Sarvaga rejects all pramanas except perception. For them, knowledge must be based on direct experience. Inference, they argue, is unreliable because it assumes universal relations that are never actually observed. The study of Indian epistemology would remain incomplete without examining the nature of truth and error, which are central to the discussion of valid and invalid cognition. Different philosophical schools in India developed their own theories of error, Yadivada, to explain how false knowledge arises and how it differs from valid cognition. Each theory reflects deeper metaphysical commitments about the relation between mind, world, and reality. The Nyaya theory that of error, known as Aniradhyadi, hold that error arises when an object is perceived as something it is not. When one thing is mistaken as for another. For instance, mistaking a rock for a snake occurs because the mind recalls a previous experience of a snake and superimposes it upon the present perception of the road. And Buddhism, on the other hand, advocates the view that error is the perception of the non-existent as existent. When one perceives silver as a shell, the silver does not exist anywhere. It is purely a mental conception produced by imagination. For Buddhists, all cognition includes permanent substance and universally is mistaken because the reality consists only of momentary discrete events. The Prabhakara Mimamsaka proposes Yadivada or the non-apprehension theory, according to which error arises from the failure to distinguish between perception and memory. So I am speaking on that, and from the perspective of Indian thought, truth, Sattriya, is not merely correspondence between thought and object, as in the Western sense, but also coherence with experience and utility in the moral spiritual domain. The criterion of truth is often expressed as yadhathanubhava, knowledge that accords with reality. Valid knowledge is characterized by abhadhatva or non-contradiction. Once verified, it is not sublated by subsequent experiences. Moreover, many schools, such as the Buddhist and Vedantins, associated truth with the capacity to lead one towards liberation. Thus, epistemology and soteriology remain inseparable in the Indian tradition. In this context, and I am going to Indian epistemology thus does not treat knowledge as a merely cognitive process, but as a path of self-realization. The knower, the known, and the process of knowing are all part of a dynamic continuum aimed at overcoming ignorance. This pragmatic and spiritual orientation distinguishes Indian theories of the knowledge from many Western epistemological models and primarily focus on justification and belief. Western epistemology or the epistemology in the Western tradition originates in the intellectual milieu of ancient Greece, where philosophical inquiry began as a quest to understand the nature of reality, truth, and human understanding. The earliest thinkers, pre-Socrates, sought to explain the world through reason rather than myth, while they focused primarily on metaphysical questions. Their attempts to discover the underlying principles of reality marked the birth of their rational investigation. However, it was Socrates, Plato, and Aristotle who shifted attention more directly to the problem of knowledge itself, laying the the groundwork for all later epistemological inquiry. Socrates introduced as the distinctive method of inquiry, the dialectic, which emphasizes questioning and logical reasoning as a part of knowledge. His focus was not on external facts, but on moral and conceptual clarity. For Socrates, knowledge was a form of virtue. To know the good was to act rightly. Plato, his student, took his insight further and developed one of the earliest systematic theories of knowledge. And his famous allegory on the cave in the Republic, Plato distinguished between opinion, doxa, and true knowledge, episteme. According to him, the sense could only provide the changing, imperfect appearances of things, while true knowledge belongs to the eternal and unchanging realm of forms of ideas. The rational soul through dialectic knowledge arises from studying the concrete particular of the world and following classical. In medieval period, in Western philosophy was dominated by the synthesis of Greek philosophy with Christian theology. Thinkers such as Augustine, Anselm, and Thomas Aquinas sought to reconcile faith and reason. Augustine adopted a form of Platonic illumination, arguing that the true knowledge arises not from the sense but from divine illumination within the soul. For him, God is the source of all truth, human understanding, particularly to divine reason. Aquinas, drawing upon Aristotle, offered a more moderate account in which both sense experience and reason contribute to knowledge. In the race of modern philosophy, in the 17th century, brought a radical re-examination of the foundations of knowledge. Thinkers such as René Descartes, John Locke, and George Berkeley, and David Hume laid the cornerstones of modern epistemology by asking how human beings can achieve, certainly in an age of scientific discovery and Descartes, the founder of modern rationalism, began his inquiry with systematic skepticism. In this meditation on first philosophy, he resolved to doubt everything that could be doubted until he reached something undebatable. This led him to the famous conclusion, cogito ergo sum, that is, I think, therefore I am. For Descartes, the mind's clear and distinct ideas given by reason form the foundation of all true knowledge. The sense would deceive, but reason, grounded in the certainty of one's own existence as the thinking being, would lead to knowledge of God and the external world. In contrast, John Locke, the father of empiricism, argued that all knowledge originates in experience. In his essay concerning human understanding, he rejected the notion of innate ideas and proposed that the human mind at birth is a tabula rasa, that is blank slate, upon which the experiences write knowledge. For Locke arises through two sources: sensation, that is external experience, and reflection, that is internal awareness of mental operation. And George Berkeley, I am just going George Berkeley took empiricism in an idealistic direction. He denied the existence of material substance, arguing instead that reality consists solely of perception in the mind. But David Hume carried empiricism to the skeptical conclusion. In his inquiry concerning human understanding, he argued that our belief is possession, external objects, and even the self are not rationally justifiable, but are products of habit and custom. And Immanuel Kant, one of the great scholars which we understood in our philosophy, Immanuel Kant responded to Hume's skepticism by initiating what he called a Copernican resolution in philosophy. In his critique of pure reason, Kant argued that knowledge arises from the interaction between sensory experience and the mind's image, while empiricism claimed that all knowledge comes from experience, and rationalism held that reason alone can lead to truth, and proposed a synthesis through all knowledge begins with experience. It does not arise solely from it. And the 19th and 20th century witnessed further development and transformations in epistemology. German idealists such as Fichte, Schelling, and Hegel expanded Kant's ideas, emphasizing the self's active role in constituting reality. Hegel is, in particular, viewed knowledge as a historical process in which spirit, that is, spirit comes to self-consciousness through dialectical development. And in the 19th century, two major currents, that is phenomenology and analytic philosophy, shaped epistemological thought. Edmund Husserl, and founder of phenomenology, turned to the question of consciousness and its intentional structure. For Husserl, consciousness is always consciousness of something. Knowledge arises from the direct intuition of phenomena as they appear to consciousness. His method of epoch, that is bracketing, aimed to suspended presuppositions and reveal the pure structure of experiences. Meanwhile, analytical philosophers were focused on language, logic, and justification. Bernard Russell and G. Moore defined the form of realism, distinguishing between sense data, and physical objects. Edmund Wittgenstein, in his early work, he focused on the philosophy, thus sought to map the logical structure of language into reality. But in his later philosophical investigation, he emphasized that meaning arises from use within language games. This linguistic turn shifted epistemology towards an analysis of how language shapes and limits what can be known or said. In contemporary analytical epistemology, debates center on the nature of justification, belief, and knowledge. The traditional definition of knowledge as justification or true belief, originating from Plato, has been challenged by Getty's 1964 paper, which presented causes showing that justified true belief might still fail to count as knowledge. This led to the development of alternative theories. Okay, Western epistemologies from the beginnings of such as reliabilism, the knowledge as reliability produces true beliefs, comprehension, and contextualization. Epistemology also expanded into applied fields such as social epistemology, exploring how knowledge is produced and shared within communities. And virtue epistemology emphasizes the intellectual character of the knower. And I am concluding my paper that Western epistemology, from the beginning of Greece to its contemporary forms, has been marked by a tension between certainly the skepticism, reason, and experience, individual cognition, and social context. While ancient philosophers sought foundations for truth, modern and postmodern thinkers have increasingly recognized the limits of certainty and the interpretive nature of human understanding. Yet, the central questions remain enduring. What does it mean to know? How can we distinguish knowledge from belief or illusion? And what role do reason, experience, and language play and shaping our understanding of reality? These questions ensure that epistemology continue to be a living and a dynamic field of philosophical inquiry. Thank you very much. And nowadays we know that we in India we have great scholars and philosophers. Now also these kind of questions will arise. again and again, and so many new essays will be generated from our brilliant young great philosophical scholars. Thank you. Thank you. Because of that, I collapse sometimes.
Thank you so much for your very valuable good address to this August gathering. Now this is the time to inaugurate our seminar abstract volume. May I request Dr. Biman Hazarika sir to come in front and inaugurate with our other dignitary persons the abstract volume, which is the key book of this 3 day seminar. Saran agoy ahi, saran agoy ahi ate, amar baki dignitary person hate ate, itu loi jao. Abstract volume of this tedious national seminar is inaugurated by Dr. Biman Hazarika sir and with other dignitary persons of the dais. So, may I request all the dignitaries to stand with this volume and let's have a हाथ बड़ी विषयसु हमारे Thank you all the persons who have helped in inaugurating this abstract. Ajay ভলিউম को উপস্থিত করা বিমানের সভা এই ভলিউমের উপর 2000 বাক্য পূরণ অনুরোধ জানাইছি
Good morning everyone present here on this very auspicious occasion of national seminar being organized by Inaugural College ICPR's sponsored 3-day national seminar. It's a matter of great pride to be here in presence of all distinguished guests, particularly the invited resource persons, scholars, those who present here, and paper presentators and student friends. As principal of this college, I must congratulate Dr. Amita Kavita for arranging this national seminar in the hinterland of Mahapurush Shankardeva with a harbinger of peace and humility, and a master of peace and humility, and many more, a multifaceted international figure. I must pay my homage to the great master of Assamese art, culture, and religion. And his notion of humanism and his notion of philosophy lies on a very important thing of humanism. That is humanism. He taught and speak about humanism and carry forth to us the aspect of humanism. And I am happy and I'm been pleased to be here in presence of you, and I release this theory of knowledge, Indian Western philosophical perspectives containing abstract of various papers which will be presented in this national seminar. Congratulations all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir, for your inaugural of this abstract volume and your comments after inauguration. Our felicitation program, it was stopped for some while. Another guest has arrived. Now may I request our felicitation team to felicitate our Honorable Bhugeswar sir, Assistant Professor in Philosophy, Presidency University, Kolkata. Here is Arnab Kumar Mukhopadhyay sir, Assistant Professor in Philosophy, Presidency University, Kolkata, and felicitating by Dr. Pranjali Mahanto. Please come, sir.
If you get time, sir, you take the mic. If you get time, only this. Okay. Yes.
আমার মাঝে আছে শ্রী অতুল মহন্ত দেব এখানে থেকে তিনি ফুলাম কামসা আদিবার কারণে মই আমার মহাবিদ্যালয়ের সহকারী অধ্যাপিকা প্রাঞ্জলি মহন্ত বাড়ি অনুরোধ জানাইছি আমার বিশিষ্ট সমাজসেবক অতুল মহন্ত ডাঙ্গরিয়া আমার মাঝে আহিছে এখান থেকে ফুলাম কামসা আদিবার কারণে অনুরোধ জানাইছি তার সকল আগে আহিবার কারণে অনুরোধ জানাইছি আমার মাঝে আরো একটি বিশিষ্ট আমাদের হল Bhugeswar Borah স্যার এক্স টিচার এখান থেকে পাইছে এখান থেকে ফুলাম কামসার আদরিব আমার Biman Borah স্যার আমার রাজনীতি বিজ্ঞান বিভাগের পুরোপুরি অধ্যাপক আমার রিটায়ার্ড স্যার এখানে ফুলাম কামসারে আমার এই মঞ্চ আদরিব আমার গণতন্ত্রবা আরক্ষী থানার ইয়াতে ভারপ্রাপ্ত বিভাগ ডাঙ্গরি আছে আমার মহন্ত স্যার গৌরবজিৎ মহন্ত দেব এখানে কিন্তু ফুলাম গামোচা আদরিব আমার মন্ত্রী বড় স্যার এই আমার ভারপ্রাপ্ত আরক্ষী বিভাগ গণতন্ত্র আরক্ষী থানা Now this is the time to release one of the book that will take place. The book is authored by Ranjit Mahanto, a renowned Sattriya sadhak from this Katodra area and a retired engineer by profession. This book will be inaugurated by our one of the resource person, Lakshmikant Padi sir. Now may I request Padi sir to inaugurate his book. Ranjit Mahanto devak moi tekhator kitab tule age ahibar karone অনুরোধ জানাইছো. This is a book namely Sattriya Sanskritik Adhar. It is based on the cultural of Sattriya. Especially it is based on two Sattriya, Sologori Sattriya and this is Norwa Sattriya. Our honorable Padi, Lakshmikant Padi sir, he will
কোনে কৰিব
the author has informed that means the only one book has come here. After 2 p.m. the other books will be available in this local area. So our author has requested that means to be inaugurated by one our dignitary person. So Padi sir was attached here, but sir has just gone out. Now ma'am has given permission to Sebastian sir. Just please come and uncover the book. That is the first book and it will be continued. This is based on these two great Sattriya that is in our Bhattacharya area. This is Norwa Sattriya and Sologori Sattriya. First inaugurated by Ranjit Mahanto Dev with the Fulam Kamasa. And this is the only book that is with our author Ranjit Mahanto Dev. And this is based on this greater Bhattacharya two Satriyas. And it will be continued in next volume and it is informed by our author. This is the book. Let's give a big round of applause. Sattriya Sanskritik Adhar. Sattriya Sanskritik Adhar. Sologori Aro Norwa Sattriya Bordwar Potobumi. So this is I think though it is written Assamese especially, but I think one speech about the author from our great Sebastian sir. This is in Assamese, but I think if you have not gone through the chapters, but I think this is the some of the first volume and it will be continued by this author. This book is presented to this person, our this great dignitary.
Yes, my dear friends. It's really honor for me. You have released a book, which of course I cannot read it because I do not know service language. It is my incapability. At the same time, I would say reading and writing is actually an art. It's not only an art, it's a kind of a privilege given to the human being by the God himself, I would say. Only a person who can read, write, and what to say, talk about the inner self, they only can appropriate meaning of the human subject. And I am sure that Sir has done a remarkable work, though I cannot read it because of my language incapacity. But I wish and pray to Almighty that we should again contribute a lot of things to this.
মই লিখক ৰঞ্জিত মহোদয়ক অকমান কিতাপৰ বিষয়ে ক'ব পৰা অনুৰোধ জনাইছো।
আজি ভীম একাদশী দুমাহ আগতে যিটো শুক্লা একাদশী তিথি হৈছিলে, সেই একাদশী তিথিটো আছিলে আঘোণ মাহৰ মহাভাৰতৰ সময়ত মাৰ্গশীৰ্ষ মাহ বুলি কয়। সেই একাদশী তিথিতে অৰ্জুনে যুদ্ধ কৰিবলৈ যেতিয়া ধনুষৰ নমাই থৈছিলে, তেতিয়া কৃষ্ণই কৈছিলে কৰ্মণ্যেৱাধিকাৰস্তে মা ফলেষু কদাচন মা কৰ্ম ফল হেতুৰ্ভুম মাতে সন্তুষ্ট কৰ্মণি। হে অৰ্জুন, কামৰ ফল বিচাৰি যদি তুমি থাকা, তেতিয়াহ'লে ফলত তোমাৰ অধিকাৰ নাই, কৰ্মতহে তোমাৰ অধিকাৰ আছে। গতিকে তুমি কামৰ প্ৰতিক্ৰিয়া কি হ'ব, তাৰ ফলাফল কি হ'ব, এইটো ভাবি শুনি যদি তুমি কাম নকৰাকৈ থাকা, তেতিয়া এজন নিষ্কৰ্মাত পৰিণত হয়। সেইকাৰণে আমি কাম কৰি গৈছো আৰু তাৰ ফলৰ আশা কৰা নাই। এই কিতাপখন এটা টেবলেট পিচিত আঙুলিয়ে বিলাক লিখিলো, সেইখন ঘাইকৈ আমাৰ বৰদোৱাৰ গোটেই ফলৰ বাজনাখিনিৰ ওপৰত ৰচনা কৰা হৈছে। গতিকে সকলো অসমীয়া ভাষাতে লিখিছো, কেৱল মই ফটো দিছো। গতিকে মই আশা ৰাখিছো সকলো দুখ ত্ৰুটি আপোনালোকে মোক সমালোচনা কৰিব পাৰিব, পৰামৰ্শ দিব পাৰিব। আমি ভৱিষ্যতলৈ সংশোধন কৰিম। আজি বৰ গৌৰৱৰ বিষয় এইটোৱে যে মোৰ এই সামান্য কমটো লম্বতে গিৰি বুলি কোৱা শব্দটো অন্যতম উদাহৰণ কৰি মই এনেখন কিতাপ আপোনালোকৰ দৰে বৃহৎ ধনী সমাজৰ সন্মুখত মুকলি কৰিবলৈ এই সৌভাগ্যৰ অংশীদাৰ হ'ব পৰাৰ মূল কথা হৈছে পদবেৱা শংকৰদেৱ মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ অধ্যক্ষা ডক্টৰ নমিতা কলিতা। তেখেতক বিশেষভাৱে ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিম।
Now it is time to have a brief introduction of the August gathering here. We are blessed to have many renowned dignitaries among us. I would now like to request all the dignitaries to give a brief introduction. Those we are going to span of time, we have to complete the inaugural session within the stipulated time. Now I would like to request all the dignitaries, those who are attending here, to give their brief introduction to know each other, who among us. From the guys, if they come here one by one, here suppose we cannot give them enough time just to give introduction to let us know each other, August gathering. So I am giving this microphone to the first person who is sitting here to the left hand side of me. Sir,
ধন্যবাদ। সকলোকে নমস্কাৰ জনাইছো। মই লাচিত বৰদলৈ। মই নিজকে মানৱ অধিকাৰ কৰ্মী বুলি ভাবো। 30 বছৰ ধৰি মানৱ অধিকাৰ কামত লাগিছো। কিন্তু সদ্যহতে ইয়াত শ্ৰী বটদ্ৰৱা আগ যিখন অসমৰ জাতিৰ প্ৰাণ প্ৰতিষ্ঠাতা মহাপুৰুষ জগতগুৰু শ্ৰীমন্ত শংকৰদেৱৰ জন্মস্থান, এই থানৰ প্ৰধান সম্পাদক হিচাপে আপোনালোকক ধন্যবাদ।
সকলোকে নমস্কাৰ। আমি শ্ৰী অম্লানজ্যোতি দেৱ গোস্বামী বৰ্তমান শ্ৰী শ্ৰী নৰৱা সত্ৰৰ অগ্ৰাধিকাৰ তথা বৰ্তমানৰ যি খাত পৰিচালনা সমিতি তাৰ সভাপতি ৰূপে কাম কৰি আছো।
মই সকলোকে মোৰ আন্তৰিক শ্ৰদ্ধা আগবঢ়ালো। মই শ্ৰী শ্ৰী কলগুৰি সত্ৰ সত্ৰাধিকাৰ যোগেন্দ্ৰ নাৰায়ণ দেৱ মহন্ত আপোনালোকক ইয়াতে লগ পাই মন প্ৰাণ সকলোখিনি বজি গৈছে গুৰুজনাৰ পিছত। আজি মনত পৰিছে 570 বছৰ আগত মহাপুৰুষ গুৰুজনাই যিখিনি বস্তু বটতবাত থৈ গ'ল তাৰ বিকাশ আৰু প্ৰকাশৰ গতি এতিয়া প্ৰখৰ হৈছে। আগতে ম্লান হৈ আছিলে যদিও এতিয়া প্ৰখৰ হৈছে। এই বিশ্ব ব্ৰহ্মাণ্ডত আজি জিলিকি উঠিছে একমাত্ৰ গুৰুজনাৰ একতা, দৃঢ়তা, সততা আৰু সমন্বয়ৰ সেইটো এতিয়া মজবুত হৈছে। আপোনালোকক আমাৰ ফালৰ পৰা আমি প্ৰণাম জনাইছো। আপোনালোকক আমি আহ্বান জনাব বিচাৰিছো যে একতা, দৃঢ়তা, সততা, সমন্বয়ৰ প্ৰাণকেন্দ্ৰ বটদ্ৰৱালৈ আপোনালোক আহক। আপোনালোকৰ চৰণৰ ধৰি আমাৰ ক্ষীৰত পৰক। গতিকে আমাৰ যিখিনি দৰ্প অহংকাৰ বিনাশ সেইখিনি মষিমূৰ হওক, প্ৰকাশ ভগীটো উজ্জ্বল হৈ থাকক, ইয়াতে কামনা কৰি সকলোলৈকে মোৰ আন্তৰিক শ্ৰদ্ধা জ্ঞাপন কৰি মই মোৰ বক্তব্য সামৰণি মাৰিছো।
Myself, Upamudra Jodhuri, currently teaching at Jadavpur University. I treat myself as an Indian and a daughter of the Northeast.
I think there is no need to introduce me myself. I am Ida Moini and I'm a Sanskrit professor in Calicut University, that is in northern part of Kerala, and I am working as a vice chancellor also to universities I am serving. And that is Sri Shankaracharya University of Sanskrit, Kaladi, that is the birthplace of Shankara, Adi Shankara. There's a divine land, and I am inviting all of you to once you have to visit that place. And I am seeing young students in front of me, so I can say 2 sentences more. That if you have a good destination in your life, if you are thinking to be in a great position, you have to try well. You have to your commitment and your endure to get that will lead you in that place. I will say one thing, that in my childhood days, my father was passed away, my mother was a bedridden person. So can you imagine that from 10 years, 10 year itself I am going for coolie work. Can you imagine that? From that time itself I have continued my study, not good marks, but I still continued. And now I am in the seat of Vice Chancellor. You think how much we have to try to get a good future in our life? That is our that try will write out life in one day. Okay, thank you very much.
I am Dr. Maitri Sharma from Andhra Pradesh, Guwahati. I'd like to introduce myself as teacher of Dr. Nomita Kolita. In 90s, when I was a young teacher, she was a little girl who was very keen to learn philosophy. So I wish her all the best, and I wish a grand success of this academic endeavor of this seminar. And I welcome you all the dignitaries here in the land of Mahapurush Sri Shankaracharya.
Good afternoon to everyone. Myself, Urubjyoti Sharma from the Department of Philosophy, Purain University, and a resident of Guwahati.
My name is Inspector Urubjyoti Borah. I am attached to Ottada Police Station. I wish a grand success of this seminar. Thank you.
নমস্কাৰ মই বটদ্ৰৱা বইজ জেভিৰ
Department of Philosophy, Guwahati University.
I am Lakshmikanta Bari from North Bengal University.
I am Sebastian Velashiri basically from Kerala. Otherwise, because I got my postgraduate from Hyderabad University and did my PhD from back in 1986 with the IT Kanpur. Then I got to Delhi University. Then in 1989 onwards, I have been stationed at Punjab University, Chandigarh. Later, of course, I was awarded the National Emeritus Professor from VGC. I was senior fellow of ICPR also. I have published maybe around 350 books. Produced maybe around 29 PhD students.
Myself, Dr. Biman Hazarika, Principal of Dhing College, and we say success of this center. Thank you.
I'm Xavier P. Mao, but not the grandson or son of Mao Zedong, Chairman Mao, China. Currently, I'm professor in the Department of Philosophy, Nehru, and I have been a member of the United Nations Australian chapter, and also a member of the Amnesty International, which headquarters in London. And currently, I'm again a member of the World Union Catholic Philosophical Society, based in Canada, an associate member of the Council for Research in Values and Philosophy, based in Washington, D.C., USA. Currently, also, I'm the Joint Secretary of the Indian Philosophical Congress. My colleague Thagi is the Treasurer. So, 2 IPC members are here present. And then I have been for 2 terms Vice President of the Federation of the Central University Teachers Association at all India level. I have been also the longest President 8 times Nehru Teachers Association. And of course, many more. Thank you very much. This is a very nice gathering.
নমস্কাৰ জয় গুৰু শংকৰ মই শ্ৰী ইন্দ্ৰমোহন বৰুৱা বটদ্ৰৱাৰ মই বটদ্ৰৱা শ্ৰী সিদ্ধান্ত পৰিচালনা সমিতিৰ প্ৰাক্তন সাধাৰণ সম্পাদক
My name is Ramti. I am from Department of Philosophy, University of North Bank.
My name is Harivan Sharma. I am affiliated with the Department of Philosophy of the
I am proudly introduce myself that I am very at this college. All of my actually guru, my teacher, and also I am a senior journalist of Ohomia Protein Times. Thank you.
I am Ranjit Mohanto from Botodrova. I am practicing forging and playing food. Thank you.
নমস্কাৰ
বড়োৱাৰ বড়ো এজন জ্যেষ্ঠ নাগৰিক হিচাপে দাবী কৰিব পাৰোঁ আৰু এই অনুষ্ঠানৰ বিষয়ে আজিৰ পৰা কিবা আগতে এই মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ অধ্যক্ষগৰাকীয়ে বাইদেৱে কৈছিল যে আমি এনেকুৱা এটা ৰাষ্ট্ৰীয় পৰ্যায়ৰ চেমিনাৰ আয়োজন কৰিম আপোনালোকে সহায় কৰিব আৰু আজি সেইদিনটো আহি পৰি নিমন্ত্ৰণ পাই অন্য কাম এৰি থৈ মই বেলেগ কামত ব্যস্ত আছিলোঁ আজি আহিছোঁ মই সৌভাগ্যৱান বুলি ভাবিছোঁ এনেকুৱা অনুষ্ঠানত অংশগ্ৰহণ কৰিবলৈ পাই মই এই অনুষ্ঠানৰ সফল সামৰণি কামনা কৰিলোঁ লগতে মহাবিদ্যালয়ৰ অধ্যক্ষগৰাকীলৈ বহুত বহুত ধন্যবাদ জ্ঞাপন কৰিলোঁ এনেকুৱা
মীরা ঘোষাল আমি প্রেসিডেন্সিতে রিসার্চ করছি Thank you all for allowing us to take part in this seminar.
My name is Shrija Bose. I'm a student of philosophy at Presidency University. Thank you.
Very good afternoon to all of you. A very welcome. I'm now from Guwahati right now. My name is Dr. Moshki Das. I'm Superintendent of State Tax, South Civil Service Allied.
Dance. So Sattriya is a classical dance from Assam, introduced by Srimanta Shankardev, and it is performed as a devotional art. Now may I request our honorable dignitaries, those who are sitting in the dais, just to come out of your dais and you have to take seat in our front row. Ibrahim will arrange the chairs in the first line, and this table will be
स्वामी श्री कृष्ण को परिविभव चेष्टा देखो हम तू दुर्भागा भी हम आजो के जानलु ওই হব কথা কহিতে দুঃখ हम দেব দুর্লভ পারিজাত পুষ্প স্বর্গ হন্তে আনি কহু কৃষ্ণক হাতে দেব এ পারিজাত যে নারী পরিধান করে এ পুষ্পক মহিমায় পরম হাজারি হামুকুল ওহি পারিজাতক জিজ্ঞা দেবী ভক্তভামা লক্ষ্য কৰি আপোনাৰ হাতে প্ৰিয়াৰ কমিনিক মাতে পৰম সাগৰে সেই দিব্য পাৰিজাতক পিন্ধাও অগ্নিক ধূলা দেখি কি নিমিত্তে প্ৰাণ ধৰহ হে মাও তুহাক জীৱন অধিক অধিক তু জীৱন্তে মৰণ अकरना सुखा कुपा पड़ी पुराए मुंचिता होतिका हुओ এক ফুল দুক বিকদেব এই নিমিত্তে যদি অপমান কৰহ তব উঠ উঠাক এক হত পাইতা কবিও দুকমি যাবতি তুহাক হব ভাগিনী নাই তুহ আমাক প্ৰাণ হব জানি আপতে যাব তুহাৰি দুখ দেখি আমাৰ হৃদয় সহয়ে নাই ইয়ে আমাক হবত উঠক
আমি দুর্ভাগা কখনো একটা কথা বলে করো যে কখনো প্রিয়তরা ভগিনী তুমি তো করো কোন প্রয়োজন দিব
সাপি ধরি কুল ওরিয়া সহ অসন হরি বল লোক মিনি কদেদু উতা এক ফুল সেইখন আঁকিটো অতই আঁকিব পাৰিজাত তৰু সমূলেও পাৰি ৰূপত কলপ আনি যোৱা মাৰি
কুমাৰ বৰা এখেতে বৰদাম নাছিলে কুমাৰ বৰা তেখেতক আদৰিব